it is that time for our weekly check on the world of science and tech. And of course, you're wondering why this guy's sitting beside us is the CTV
They're
tech
not
expert.
wondering. We know Dan.
Right on. How you doing, guys?
Good.
Let's get some science going.
Yeah, this is AI. I feel like all the time we're having these big conversations about this technology, how we're using it. Some questions about bosses, though, or someone in a management position using it in an email.
Yeah, so your boss sends you this really nice email and says all these nice things about what a great job you're doing, and then you look a little carefully and you're like, wait, did you write that with AI? Like, what's the deal? Yeah. And this is a study where they had about...
Is that people's first thoughts now?
Well,
I think so, yeah.
It depends on the tone, right? We've all gotten an email where you're like, this is a little longer than it needs to be, and why are you using those little icons for those bullet points? Like, it just smells like AI. And so this is a study where it asked people, how do you feel about the email you got from your boss if you think they really wrote it versus if you get the impression they wrote it with AI. And the sincerity goes down from 83% down to the 40s. It's amazing. So if you're a boss and you're really trying to like spur on your employees, they don't think you're being sincere. They don't think you're being professional. The professionalism goes from 95% down into the 70s. And how much you actually care, their estimates of that goes up from the 70s down to about 46%. So what they found is that when bosses use AI a little bit, they can actually craft a better email. They might choose some better words that really land. But if they overdo it, then it crashes. It destroys the relationship. It's hurting it. And I think this is bigger than just bosses. I think this is like when you send an email to anybody, applying for a job, somebody you know really well. If they smell AI, it just seems like you're mailing it in.
Yeah, it's like the authenticity, right?
Yes.
And I feel like you see it a lot, I find, on LinkedIn now. People putting in a big blurb. And you're like, you don't talk that way.
Yeah,
you don't write that way. I think it's very obvious sometimes. So.
It's the thought that counts. And if you didn't actually have the time to put together the thought, then it doesn't count.
For sure. Okay, let's talk about the diving women of Korea. These are seniors who spend 10 hours a day foraging for sea urchins. This is actually a documentary at TIFF as well. What are the findings here with this study?
So, well, the researchers wanted to see, these women are extreme athletes, and it's easy to dismiss them because they're all in their 60s and 70s. And they're all women, and they're all hunting for sea urchins in the ocean. And what they're doing is sort of like pushing the extremes of what a human body can do. But just because it's not Michael Phelps down there, people are like, well, that's not a real athlete. But they are athletes. Yeah. They're doing amazing things. And so researchers wanted to get a glimpse of this because it's sort of a dying trend, right? Their kids have said their daughters have said, we don't want to do this like you did. So this may be the last generation that does this. But they're spending 10 hours a day in the water, holding their breath, no scuba tanks, just going down and picking up sea urchins and foraging for them and selling them. And so researchers look to see how their performance compares to like an otter or a beaver, like a mammal that spends time in the water. And they whip, like beavers don't even come close to what these women are doing. They're holding their breath and being underwater for more than 50% of their foraging time. So they come to the surface, they catch their breath, but then more than half of the time they're underwater. That far exceeds what an otter does or what a beaver does.
Do you know how long they're holding their breath at a time?
They're not extreme. So they're only holding their breath for 30, 40 seconds at a time at most, and then coming up for air. But the percentage of time they're spending underwater is only exceeded by things like dolphins and sea lions. It's really amazing.
I mean, I don't know why anyone wouldn't want to take this over. I mean, if my mom was the equivalent of a dolphin or a seal, I'd say like, okay, how do I become one of those too?
I know, but it's hard work, right? 10 hours a day out in that water, any weather. And I mean, it's a beautiful thing, to be spending all that time underwater. But I think it's like a lot of things in society right now when your parents have this job and you're expected to follow in their footsteps and you're looking at all the options we have available in this wonderful society we live in. And you say, well, working hard sounds good, but maybe I'll be an influencer. Or maybe I'll do something else that is just a little easier.
It's a very real thing, though, right?
Totally.
Or just different interests, right? And saying, I feel more comfortable doing this.
So. Yeah, so I'm really glad the scientists got a glimpse of this extreme sort of human performance before it went away.
They're almost like human mermaids here, like real life mermaids.
Right? Real life mermaids, absolutely.
And that's why there's a film about it. The Last of the Sea Women. If you haven't seen it, it's supposed to be really great.
Really interesting. Yeah. Thanks, Dan. You always come with such great topics.
It's a pleasure.
Thanks for starting our week with it.
Thank you.